Hey guys, how's it going and thanks for coming. I'm Nick and this is Real Life Money. Don't forget to subscribe. So I missed you guys for the holiday and I hope you enjoyed your holiday with a bunch of turkey. And if you're not in America, I still hope you enjoyed. So we all heard of what makes up a credit score. Hopefully, because they skipped that lesson in high school and college. But does it actually work? Could it go up? Could it go down? And then could it shoot right back up again just as quickly? Well, I actually had almost around 100-point swing, and I want to talk to you guys about it. So first thing, we're going to go over the few factors that make up a credit score. We're going over that very quickly. I'm talking about studying for a test tomorrow quick. Then we're going over what actually happened to me. My FICO score dropped from 803 all the way down to 724, and then it actually rebounded. Now that was my FICO. It was actually specifically around like 820, so it dropped around 100 points. After all is said and done, it basically recovered in 2 months, and I want to go over exactly what happened so you could understand and how you could even improve your credit score relatively simply and also quickly. So let's quickly study what makes up a credit score. The first thing is payment history. That makes up 35% of your credit score. That means the history of your payments. If you're having problems now, sorry, this is going to be rough. Number 2, what a lot of people do not understand is utilization, and which we're going to be talking about. But this makes up 30% of your credit score. Number 3 is length of your credit history, and that makes up 15%. Number 4 is new credit, and that's 10%. And the fifth and final 10% of your credit score, the main, or not main factor, definitely not the main factor, but the last factor is how your credit is split up, your credit mix. Quick math, so 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10 equals your 100%. And we could see the majority of it is made up of basically 2 factors. Your payment history, making sure you're paying on time, no late fees, nothing like that. You're actually paying these people, unfortunately. But also your utilization, which is included in my story. So quick description of utilization for those of you who don't know. How much credit you use versus how much you have available. So real quick, let's say if you have $1,000 available, but you only use $100, that's 10% utilization. If you use $500 and your credit limit's $1,000, that's 50% utilization. There you go. So I've heard in theory initially that when you have a high utilization, so let's say if you had a low utilization, maybe like 5 to 10%, you should probably keep that as low as possible, ideally under 10%. But let's say you're having that 10, and then let's say it shoots up to like 75%, which is actually what happened to me. I had a big purchase, so I just put it on my credit cards. And then the theory continues, if you pay that off, the utilization rate drops, which would then recover your credit score back up to its original score. Now in theory, of course, that makes complete sense, but when reality hits, just like everything else, that doesn't seem like it would actually happen. Well, this happens to me. So first, let's clear this up first. That the large purchase that I had on this credit card, I had the cash for. So it's not like I couldn't afford it. I was just going to pay it off. I wanted the credit card rewards points, the cash back, because I'm that type of guy, and credit card companies hate those types of guys. So I paid that right back off. Don't worry, don't call Dave Ramsey. We're all good, no debt. So going back to our theory of, I did have a very low utilization. I really don't buy a lot of things, use it for like gas, maybe food, like that's really about it. So I think my normal utilization is probably like 5%, maybe 10%. Really depends on the month, I suppose. But it definitely shot up probably over like 75%. So obviously, like in theory, my credit score dropped, plummeted right off the face of a cliff. So went from over 800 to 724. So obviously when this happened, I had a mini heart attack like, oh, this is horrible, my credit score is dropping, but I still had that theory in my mind, but I was questioning if it would actually rebound completely, because in reality that doesn't seem like it would actually happen. So what ended up happening, I did pay off all that debt. So then, I hate that word debt, I had it for a month, paid it off, no interest. Don't worry, I even triple check, no extra payments. Just got my cash back and we're all happy. So as my utilization returned back to normal, so it dropped back down to that around 10%, the credit score itself rebounded back up from that 724 to 803, which is where it was steadily for like months, over like 6 months, and it rebounded exactly to that number. So why I'm even telling you guys this, that we could learn two things from this lesson. One is that theory is actually true. When you put a bunch on your credit cards and you increase your utilization, the credit card gets a little worried, so they drop your score. But when you pay that off, it actually rebounds. That is true. It's not just in theory, that actually happens from my personal experience. But what we also learned is that utilization is a huge factor. So it really determines how much you owe versus how much you could actually borrow. To help you improve your credit score, you could do a couple of different things. If you want to lower your utilization without changing anything, any living style, any type of life changes, you could pay for things in a different way. So instead of using your credit card, and you could, instead of like continuously building up that debt that you might have, you could, one, put that payment on a debit card. So it just takes straight from your bank. It doesn't hit your credit, so you could technically lower your utilization rate down. And if you're trying to pay that debt off, you could drop it that way, which would then entail increase your credit score. On the other hand, if you don't want to use debit cards, you could also use, where we all started from, is with cash. Cold, hard cash, because that has nothing to do with borrowing money. You just pay for it in cash. One that could help you with your spending, if you're like a chronic spender and really can't like handle what you buy, you can never overspend with your cash, because when you're out of cash, you're out of cash. So with this strategy, if you're using cash for things, similar with the debit card that we just mentioned, there's no more payments or debt going toward your credit cards, your utilization rate's going down, your credit score is going up. So that could definitely help you very quickly. You could see how it helped me. It completely recovered in like a month or two, and that's how it could help you as well. So actually start using money to start paying down that debt, dropping that utilization, so you could get better rates for mortgages, for cars, for whatever requires a credit score. Now, yes, there are those other factors. The next biggest one would be your payment history. So, of course, don't make late payments. Make sure you're paying, try to pay off every single month, because that's basically the same percentage, because that's 35, utilization is 30. So focus on those two mainly. The other ones like new credit or credit mix or anything like that, yeah, it has some factor, but not that significant. Focus on those two, utilization and continuously paying your stuff off. So hopefully that helped you guys out a bit. I thought that was actually really interesting, and that was life experience for me, that theory is correct. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Do you know your credit score? A lot of people actually do not, and that's one of those numbers that you should probably understand. You should know where your money's going, use it wisely, so you could actually control your life. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it, and I'll see ya in the next one.